What up guys, JP back at you once again, bringing you guys episode number 26 in my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection. This is a video series in which I show you guys everything that I own. It's actually been quite a while since I've done one of these. I'm a little bummed. I wanted to get every single one of these videos recorded in 2015 and I just failed miserably because we're not even through the DVDs yet, but continuing along here, we have some more T's. If you haven't noticed by now, I've been going alphabetically. And we have the Theater Bazaar. I picked this up on a blind buy with Mother's Day, back when they were released in the same week, I believe, of like 2012. And I actually really enjoyed both films. This is an anthology film. There was supposed to be a sequel to this one, and it never happened. That really kind of bums me out, but I actually really liked this one. Most of the stories I enjoyed. Really cool stuff, you know. I highly recommend this one. I believe it made my top 10 of 2012, which I don't even still have that list, but I'm pretty sure that it was like on that list. I definitely recommend it. It's a really solid anthology. After that, we have There's Nothing Out There, one of the very few Troma films that I own, but it's actually a pretty solid one. This is that like really meta before Scream. You know, Scream had that sort of meta humor, the self-referential style of comedy and filmmaking. This was doing it first, man, and it does it really well. There's some really cool gags in there. You know, just the very spoof of horror movies and a satire of horror movies. And you know, it plays on the cliches and the tropes of horror movies, which, you know, Troma, you know, kind of ahead of its time. And I've heard Lloyd Kaufman always say that, you know, Troma was ahead of its time, and they pretty much were. So, you know, as much crap as I give Troma, I gotta give them credit where credit's due, and this is a pretty fun one. 2 discs, 20th anniversary edition here. Check it out if you haven't. It's actually a pretty solid watch. After that, we have one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and this is seriously one of the best horror movies ever made, and I think it's this director who's made some of the best horror movies ever made. I think it's his best film, and that is John Carpenter's The Thing. This is probably my favorite remake. It's my favorite Carpenter film. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. My favorite Kurt Russell film, and, you know, I mean, it is just so goddamn good. I love the paranoia in the film. I love the isolated setting. I love the contained feel. I love the body hopping. It's a body snatching film. The effects, everything about it is just pure gold to me. I even love the X-Files episode from season 1 called Ice, which is essentially like a retelling of this story. You know, it's just one that I love so much, and I truly wish John Carpenter would have had the chance to make the sequel that he wanted to, but at the same time, at least we have this film, which will be forever, you know, immortalized in horror history. So that is John Carpenter's The Thing. I can't believe that movie bombed when it came out either. That's crazy. And then we have here The Thing from, I think, 2011, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really remember, but this one I actually did kind of enjoy because I liked that it was sort of a sequel. Even though it was a reboot and a remake at the same time, there was a lot of sequel elements to it, like a lot. I mean, it could be considered a sequel. I mean, even though the same thing is happening, there are enough references to the original, and enough like follow-ups. I mean, I guess it would be a prequel, actually. Let me rephrase that. It's a prequel. But yeah, I mean, it totally works as one. I really did enjoy this one. I mean, it's not super good. I'm very well aware of that, but I like the fact that they threw all the different nods, and anybody who's a big fan of the original can see like the acts and stuff and different things. It was a little contrived though. So The Thing, I guess it's the reboot prequel. After that, we have Thirst from Australia. This is a Synapse Films release. This one's actually pretty solid. Not the best movie in the world, but I did enjoy it. You know, it's kind of one that's a little foggy in my memory. I had just watched it maybe a year or two ago, though, so, yeah, I don't know. 1979, Australian cinema. Probably have to give this one another watch. I remember it being like sort of a unique take on the vampire genre, so you know, that's always cool. Next up here we have the Thompsons, which was awful. It has one of the worst quotes that I've seen in a while too. Twilight meets Tarantino. Jesus Christ. This was released under the Macabre label, and it's by Exhilarated Media. It's a sequel to The Hamiltons, which was a really cool vampire film from the 8 Films to Die For, the first series, which is probably my favorite, or one of my favorites out of that first series. And it is just a poor follow-up, and I believe it's even done by the same directors, the Butcher Brothers, and they just dropped the ball completely. They missed the concept of the original one. I know they created it and stuff, but this one just didn't have what the original one had. I really didn't really like this one at all. Even though I think I gave it like a 5 out of 10. It's definitely not a super good movie. After that, we have the Toolbox Murders, the Tobe Hooper film, which is weird, man. It's weird that Tobe Hooper did this remake. It's honestly not good. It just isn't. There's certain things about it that I liked. I've had this in the collection for a long-ass time, too. This actually a Lionsgate? Yeah, it's a Lionsgate. I thought it was a Dark Sky. It's a Lionsgate. It's cool to have because I collect these, big directors' filmographies, but it's definitely not one of Tobe Hooper's best. It's pretty bad. After that, we have Torture Chamber. This was a Dante Tomaselli film. I didn't really care for this one that much either. I know that Moods is kind of a liker of this film, but I found it to be boring and just not very well done. So yeah, it's not really my thing. After that, we have Train, which is kind of a loose remake of Terror Train from the 80s, I believe 81, which Jamie Lee Curtis, David Copperfield on a train, slasher killer guy changing costumes and stuff on New Year's Eve. I mean, it's a pretty fun movie. This one, it's alright. It's not bad. I mean, there's certain things about it. It's like kind of torture porny, but I thought it was decent. It wasn't too bad. It's been a while since I've watched it, but, it's not like a bad $5 pickup from like a Walmart or something. I think you would be mildly entertained and you wouldn't, have buyer's remorse or anything. After that, I think this film's actually out of print now, but it is a Trilogy of Terror from Dark Sky. I grabbed this for like $5 at a Walmart dump bin one time and was really happy to do so because this film kicks ass. It's an anthology film. Starring Karen Black. All 3 chapters of the film star Karen Black, and it's just it's a really cool one. I mean, it's most known for the notable Zuni fetish doll, which even came back to be in the sequel, which is Trilogy of Terror 2, which I actually really like, that needs a release. The Zuni fetish doll is really creepy, and it actually is pretty scary, so I think that's why it's what it's most well known for, and well deserving. I mean, it's a really creepy, effective little creature type story. After that, we have Tremors, the Attack Pack here. We have Tremors, Tremors 2, Tremors 3, and Tremors 4. I've always been a huge fan of the Tremors films. I absolutely love them. The first Tremors is just absolutely a classic. It's so entertaining. I could literally watch it over and over again and never get bored. Tremors 2, the same thing. I actually love Tremors 2. It's probably my favorite in the series, even though the first one's a better movie. Tremors 2 is the one I always kind of go back to. It's just so much fun. Tremors 3, honestly, it has no right to be as good as it is. It's not super well made, but it is fun. It's fun. It's a nice little sci-fi channel follow-up to Tremors 2. And then Tremors 4, just not very good. I mean, it's alright. It's sort of a prequel in like a weird way where like the same character is playing like an ancestor, but it's weird. I hate when they do stuff like that. Like everybody has like a direct ancestor in the town. It's really stupid. It's like a reboot or like a reinterpretation of Tremors, which is I hate when they do that, but it's all right. It's not the worst in the world. It's like sort of your Western Tremors, which Western horror is really cool. So I'll give it a pass on that. After that, we have Triangle. This one was okay, kind of a weird, bizarro film. I wouldn't really recommend running out and grabbing it, but if you could find it for, you know, $3 or $4, it might be worth a grab. It's set on a boat, which is cool, so it got that going for it if you like horror films set on boats. It's alright. Sort of a weirdo film. After that, we have The Tripper, which is, I believe it was originally one of the 8 films to die for and kind of got its own separate release. Honestly, it's pretty fun. It got Jason Mewes in it. David Arquette directed this, I believe, and it's like a silly, kind of comedic, psychedelic slasher. It's pretty cool. I actually don't mind it. It's a pretty fun movie. I was pretty surprised with it when we covered it on the podcast on a viewer's choice episode. After that, we have Troll and Troll 2. I mean, Jesus Christ, these movies are just awful. Troll 1 and Troll 2 are both bad movies. They're both very similar in terms of so bad it's good. I did enjoy them a little bit, but I'm not really a big so bad it's gooder. That's not really my thing that I really do that often. Like, I can't really get into movies that are considered so bad it's good. There's some, like Children of the Corn 2, that I really like. This one is, you know, Troll 2 I liked a little bit more just because it has more of that so bad it's good quality, but they're both sort of like that. Best Worst Movie is definitely, you know, more of my cup of tea. Speaking of which, we have Best Worst Movie. This is an awesome documentary. It's one of my favorite documentaries of all time. I mean, I think everybody who made Troll 2 was like certified crazy. Like everybody, like the director, all of the cast, all of the production, like everybody was insane, and that's why you got that movie that you got. You know, I highly recommend this. Like, please just check it out. Like, you can get it for like $5. There's no reason not to check out Best Worst Movie. It even comes in some of the Troll 1 and 2 Blu-rays that Scream Factory put out. So, god damn it, just please check it out. After that, we have Trucks. This one is sort of your made-for-TV remake of Maximum Overdrive, or adaptation of Stephen King's short story Trucks. Blech. Just not good. Just, I mean, I think I might have gave it like an average rating, but if I did, that's completely wrong. This is like a 3 to a 4 out of 10 film. It's just, there's nothing to it. There's like 1 or 2 good scenes. I mean, it feels like a TV movie. It's just awful. After that, we have Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. This is one I still haven't got a chance to see yet. I've had it in the collection for a little while. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I really need to check it out soon. I hopefully will soon. After that, we have the Turnpike Killer. I actually haven't watched this one yet, but it is Wild Eye Entertainment, so you never know with Wild Eye. I believe maybe the runtime scared me away or something. I'm not sure. There's a reason why I didn't check this one out yet, but I will very soon. After that, we have Turistas. For a while there, this was in every single Walmart dump bin, and I was glad it was. I picked it up for $5, and I loved it. It's a fun movie. It's sort of very underrated. It's better than it gets credit for. It's sort of that post-Saw boom that happened with films where they're like have these like torture qualities to them, these like sort of extreme type movies. It has that vibe to it, but it's actually pretty well done. Like, I actually pretty much enjoy this film all the way through, and I think it has one of the Ashmores in it. It might not. No, I'm thinking of actually another person. But yeah, pretty solid movie. Very much enjoyed it. And finally, for this part here, guys, part 26, we have the Twilight Zone, the movie. I was hoping to enjoy this one a lot more than I did. It really only has like one strong segment, and that's pretty much like the only horror segment. The rest of them's kind of not. And I know this film had like a terrible production with like actual deaths of actors, and I believe with like 2 children, which is just tragic. And I believe it was John Landis's segment, and you know, whew, man, I felt bad for him. You know, I would never really be able to forget about that. Yeah, Twilight Zone, the movie, it's alright. It's not the best, honestly. So that is it for part 26, guys. I'll see you guys in part 27. Peace out.